Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to show you how to acquire and depreciate fixed assets. Okay, so you're going to want to start with creating a fixed asset. You'll do that by going to Finance and then Fixed Assets. It'll take you to your fixed asset list, and you'll just click New. Okay, if you have auto numbering turned on, you would just tab out of the field. It'll automatically create your next fixed asset number, put some sort of meaningful description. You'll want to select a fixed asset class code. And then you'll want to select a subclass code. These are all editable lists that are maintained by yourself. And one thing to note about the subclasses is that the default FA posting group, your fixed asset posting group, is usually assigned for ease. So in this case, we are acquiring some equipment, so I'll choose that. The next thing you'll want to do, if none of the other information is needed, you can have FA location codes, right? Serial numbers, if it's a serialized thing that you want to be able to track. We're going to go to the depreciation side. So here, again, the posting group, you'll want to select if it wasn't automatically selected as shown in the subclass code, it defaulted to this posting group. Just a quick note about the posting groups here is that the posting groups are what determine where the GL accounts are going to hit, right? Your acquisition cost, your accumulated depreciation, gains, losses, and so forth. Right, so then you will choose your method, whether it's straight line, declining balance, okay, user defined if you have a unique one. Manual, just a quick note on that, is what you would use if you do not want the system when you run depreciation to pick up this asset because you want to do some sort of manual journals for that. A good example would be goodwill or certain intangibles. You generally don't want those being depreciated, and so you would choose manual because you would only touch that at given points in time. For this case, we're going to keep it at straight line. Choose your starting date. I suggest using the first of the month as your starting date, unless your business processes dictate otherwise. Just common best practices to use that. How long it's going to depreciate for, we'll just call this 5 years. And then what you might want to do is go into fixed assets at the top menu here, depreciation books, in case you want to change anything else. You might need to personalize in order to select certain columns. Like for example, if you chose declining balance, you'll notice there's no declining balance column here. So you might need to unhide it in order for that to show. Okay, we're not using declining, so I won't populate it, right? But you can also choose other columns, like there's a column of number of depreciation months, if you want to put it in months as opposed to years. Okay, so now your fixed asset has been set up and you want to now acquire it. Okay, so there's two methods of acquiring it. The first method is you just click this acquire button here, this acquire link, and it'll take you through a little acquisition process. Okay, there's going to be a drop down here. I don't suggest using these two unless you have a specific case. You just stick to a GL account that ideally you would have done this if you would have posted a vendor invoice to maybe some sort of prepaid account, or if this is a take-on asset that you're just adding the value, that you want to just get the value on the asset, but it already exists in your GL. So if it already exists in your GL, you're going to want to offset it to the GL account that the fixed asset posting group, the FA posting group is going to post to, so that it just goes in and out because it's already sitting on your general ledger. You don't want to have it there twice. So that's how we're going to treat this acquisition right now. Put in whatever dollar amount it is. The acquisition date, we'll just keep it today. And then I want to open up the journal that it's about to create to make this. Okay, so it auto creates a journal for you. You can see it's debiting your assets. And then again, because we're offsetting it, so this asset has that posting group. You can't see it on here, but if you preview post, you'll see that it's going to dictate the in and the out of the 18,100. Okay, so all this entry is doing is debiting 18,100 and crediting 18,100. So we're going to go ahead and post it. And then if you go back into that asset, you will now see that there's a dollar amount equated with this. So you can see that it's now been acquired and there's nothing else you really need to do for it. Okay, so the other method to acquire would be using a purchase invoice. Probably the most common way to acquire fixed asset is to purchase it. Okay, so you do it like any purchase invoice. Right, and then you would select here the item, the type wouldn't be item, it would be fixed asset because that's what you're acquiring. You would select the asset that you had just created. So I will select this asset here. And then you're going to put a quantity and then an amount. Just to keep things simple, you could put that there were 15 chairs and that they were $200 each, or you can just put one and that it costs 3,000, right? Any method will work. The point is you're going to be getting an entry on your fixed asset ledger. It just depends on how you want it to show there. Okay, so then you would, like any normal purchase invoice, populate any other information that is needed in order to post the purchase invoice. Then you go ahead and post it. And then if you go back into the fixed assets, you will see that there's an acquisition amount, right? So this is the invoice that was just posted there, the 3,000. All right, now we're going to talk about running depreciation. So running depreciation, you want to search for the calculate depreciation task. Okay, so you have a depreciation book. This would have been configured around setup and then the depreciation date. So this is important that you use the end of the month that you're doing it. Otherwise, depending on how your depreciation was set up, it might calculate partial days, right? So if you put it on the 14th, it might only depreciate for 14 days. So we want to choose the 31st, the document number. If you want, you can populate it. If you have auto numbering series turned on for your fixed asset journals, you don't need to populate anything because the system will populate it for you. Put July depreciation. You can run it for either all of your fixed assets by leaving the filters blank, or if you want to do it for just one, which for testing purposes, we'll just do this one, you can just choose a single asset. You can also choose multiple assets as well by putting what's known as the pipe in between the different fixed assets. So we'll do this one right now. It creates a general journal for you to review. So it doesn't just post the depreciation. All it does is create a journal for you to review to make sure that it's fine. And then you can post that. So we'll go into the journal that it created. You can check that your depreciation's fine and that everything's good. And then you would go ahead and post it. All right, and that is how you calculate depreciation. Thanks for watching.